Guys, let's talk about a game that took all of us by surprise. This game is called Paper Please. Papers, please.
Papers, please.
Papers,
please. Papers, please.
There it is.
Papers, please.
This is how much does this run for?
What is it, 10?
How much is it? 10 or 15?
$10, comrade.
This one will set you back $10 unless you get it on sale. And this is you work as an immigrations officer for working at a border, admitting people or denying them through the border of your country. So
Mighty Astroska.
I mean, it's basically supposed to be. It's the 1980s. I think it's supposed to be like a metaphor for the Soviet Union.
East-West Germany, Soviet Union.
And I want to start things off by saying, I saw Yahtzee recently reviewed this game as part of a two-parter indie review they did. And when he was talking about it, I said, yeah, that sounds cool, but I wasn't going to play it. And it wasn't until you, Josh, said, oh, this game is insane.
I saw this game on Steam. I was like, I'm going to start doing indie stuff because all this indie stuff started to look cool. And I'm like, I'm going to give this stuff a try. And I read the premise of the game, and I was like, that sounds ridiculous. Why would that be a game? So I have to try it. I completely forgot about it because all these other games came out. And then I remembered, I got to try that one. Tried it out. I was hooked, like right away.
Yes, and that's what this game does.
Totally hooked. I ended up being up until 1:30 in the morning the first night I had this game. I played probably for 8 hours in a row. It totally blew my mind.
It's a game that shouldn't work.
Exactly.
But it does work somehow, and it's very entertaining.
There's no reason for this to be so interesting.
It's the most dull premise ever. It's
exactly.
like check people into the border or deny them, and it's like you do paperwork. And
this is much different. There's nothing else like this out there at the moment.
I don't even know what you would like simulation. I guess is what
you know what it reminds me of. Not to get too off track when I was playing it, and I think part of the reason it reminds me of it is the way the graphics look. It reminds me of being in grade school and playing like Carmen Sandiego Oregon Trail.
I think that's
this game
idea.
I feel like fits into that same category.
Everyone I've told about this game that doesn't play video games regularly has said it sounds like Oregon Trail, and it totally is the same sort of premise. You've got to keep your family alive. And you sort of got to move through, but you don't move. Everybody else moves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I guess it's also important to mention that there is story to this game.
There is. And that's what keeps you going.
Yeah. So, I mean,
because there is endless mode, and if you just want to scan documents, you can, which I haven't tried yet because I don't have enough time.
All right. So the meat of this is obviously going to be in gameplay, but let's just go down the other categories real quickly. Graphics. I thought the graphics are good. It's got that retro look to it. The most important thing I'd say in this game is the text, because that's most of what you're going to be doing is reading stuff.
And the variety of faces. They came up with a variety of information.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool, too, because, the passport photos are slightly different, and, it's cool.
Yeah, you got to check the photos. And what I like about the graphics in this game, I always appreciate the retro look. This game looks dreary as hell.
It
is depressing
that's
looking.
What I was going to say. The visuals, all the visuals absolutely fit the mood of this game here.
You totally feel like you are an immigrations officer in the 80s with nothing going on in your life.
Working your crappy job in Russia somewhere.
Yeah.
And getting paid dirt.
Yeah.
This is kind of what I pictured.
It's not guaranteed.
It's kind of what I think. It's kind of how I picture Jeff's job being like.
That's pretty much it right there.
I made jokes to my wife about it. It's like after a long day at the office, I want to just come home and start burning through paperwork. And sending people to detention.
But I mean, the graphics. If somebody's playing this game and you're really focused on the graphics, they're not going to blow your mind. But they're what
I feel like they're charming.
I think they were done really well. I like that there's a sort of a tech.
Look at that, $5 left.
There you go. He's in the.
They gotta cut off the heat.
In the plus. I killed the heat a lot of times.
Yeah, you don't need that.
You got to keep your kids alive.
But I mean, I think it's important to note that this game is not a game that's reliant on graphics. So it's like if you judge this game by its graphics, it's not going to be like Uncharted.
I think
it's not going to blow your
what they're
mind.
supposed to be.
That's what I was going to say.
The 80s sort of, since it's set in the 80s, it's got that sort of Nintendo feel, the sort of 16-bit sort of kind of thing.
Graphics in this game,
but that's the idea.
Service the game's
exactly,
purpose.
And I like how it's fast. It's tactile. You really get a feeling for moving the papers around.
Oh yeah.
It's totally by design that the work area is too small. You can't see everything at once. You're shuffling
around
papers.
documents. I love it.
You got to go into the stupid rule book all the time to check against rules when they don't have, which is
I hated that. I kept like going through people's documents and being like, all right, yeah, this person's fine to go in. And then like a second later, like I would just wait for it sometimes.
Yep.
And I would get that and it's like you forgot to check some like stupid asinine detail about their passport or whatever. And I'm like,
where
and
was
it's like
issued
the issuing city, which comes up very infrequently, but you have to check for it.
Even if you memorized all this stuff that's in the rule book, you still gotta have the book out, and you still have to click on it to verify and to click on the discrepancies.
Yeah.
Oh, I got so nervous playing the game, especially like once my family members started to die from like not like being sick or whatever.
Yep.
I was like, it's like you've been fined like $10 more or whatever, and I'm like. I'd just be like, oh my god! I'm like, what guy's gonna come through this line next? I'm like, I can't stand this anymore. I'm like, let this person be a real person. I'm like, I can't take it.
Yeah, and then on top of all this, there's a lot of personality going on. You know, I mean, not a lot, but there's enough personality going on with these characters to really there's a lot of humor kind of happening.
Josh, the old man character.
Georgie is hilarious. And then you get people like, what, you look different. What is it they say? It's like, I've had surgery, like that one just said.
No, the best one that I got was like the woman who looked different, and then she's like, I've had a hard life.
Yeah, that was the one I'm trying to think of. He's like, you look different from your photograph. The years have not been kind.
That's the one that I got. And then it turned out I ran her prints, and that one she was telling the truth.
Yeah.
So
and then it's like,
I did not her anyways.
And you totally get the gender comes up a lot, and you're looking at some of these people going, it's like the first thing you notice, like, oh, I better check.
That's the one I screw up on a lot. I let people through,
and it's a man,
and it's like you didn't check the gender, and I'm like,
well, later on you get more stuff added to the booth, and as the game progresses, they add layer upon layer of like checkpoints. So you've got to check the ID issuing number, you've got to check the city, you've got to check the sex, you've got to check all these other things, and then if anything comes up, then you've got to use the body scanner, which is a godsend when it comes to checking whether or not someone's male or female, because otherwise you're just like, I don't believe you. You don't go through. It's like, because I don't think you're a man.
Once you can detain people, it gets to be awesome, because then the guards start taking people away.
Yeah,
I arrest
and then it's like, oh, what's going on?
When you need money, and that's the thing, is when you're living in a communist country in this terrible job, and you've got a guard who's like, I give you a cut of my earnings for all detained people. Detain more people. You only detain 3 people. Detain more people.
Yeah, it's great.
You're like, okay, I need to buy food for my kid.
Then it's like, oh, my son's sick. I got to detain everybody now.
Yeah, the game it's true, and I think that's the genius of this game. This game is genius in the sense that it's a puzzle in a way. You've got to match this stuff, but you also have to make decisions. Do I let these people through? Like, I'm going to meet my husband. Okay, but you have something wrong, on your passport. And, do I let them through or not? Or do I get the extra 5
like
credits?
There's one where it's like the husband comes and you like check him in, and then his
next.
wife is like the next one, and like her
Right.
papers don't work out, and like you have the option where it's like you want to make a moral choice, being like, oh well.
You want to be a good guy and get charged 5 credits.
Yeah, but then you have to like worry about your family and making income, and like I don't know, like I think it's like a good insight into like living in a communist country.
That's what the genius is. You really get
cool.
a sense of the life of someone who might have lived through this, or just like how crappy it could be somewhere else in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
it's a political statement, and it's a puzzle.
For the record, the couple that Steve's talking about, I denied the woman,
Yeah.
and then she says, "You have doomed me."
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of good dialogue.
Yeah.
This guy, Vince Lestrade, he comes through. I like that. I like that they start adding different, all the different layers of the game. Like they become a hindrance and they're harder, but like you totally want it to be harder too.
They need all sorts of new documents.
Yeah.
They need immigrant papers.
Yeah.
It's tickets.
Immunizations come up.
Immigrant paper. Yeah. Then there's workers passes, and you got to check everything out and make sure it all matches.
And Tom, wait till you play more, because you've got your workers pass here. You're checking against this, and then you've got immunizations. You've got ID cards. Then you're confiscating passports for people that come from certain region of your own country.
You have to do like body scans on like certain people, or like people from certain parts of the world, and then
Very well thought out. And I'm only in day 26. I don't know how long it goes.
Oh, I got to like day 14. My family died.
Yeah, but you got to go back. And that's the
Yeah.
nice thing is, too, there's sort of a save function. Every day is saved, and you can go back to the timeline and choose any day to start again from, and it branches out as an alternate timeline. And then even from that one, you can try again from that one, and you sort of find all the different endings. Like, okay, maybe I'll go and try this part. And there's definitely an element of randomization, too.
oh, you got a bribe right here.
You can't predict what they're going to be. Like, I found this trying to go back and playing days to try and avoid terrorist attacks. And you can't, which is cool. Like, just designing this game must have been crazy. You know what I mean?
I just want to touch on the graphics again real quick. I know I'm kind of backtracking here, but I do want to mention about the 8-bit graphics, too, just as we're looking at this. I feel like the graphics work really well for this game, and if it was like new HD graphics or like 3D, I do not think it would have the same charm.
No,
Yeah, it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, I don't want. This is a type of game like I think it looks perfect for it, and I don't want any gloss for a type of game like this. Because not to say it looks bad, but it looks dirty, it looks depressing, and yeah, I had to hit that point just because we're watching this. And I'm just like everything like fits the mood of this game like perfectly.
Fantastic.
As we're sending immigrants to their doom.
There he is.
One of the other things I
Dari
wanted to
Lindblom.
point out, and you guys kind of touched on this, was that, you do get paid per person that goes through. So most of the gameplay in this is you're mostly racing against the clock because you only have a certain amount of time in the day. So you're trying to go through these things quick, and you're also trying to not make mistakes.
And
so
do it accurately.
it's really stressful trying to do this, trying to make sure you check all the boxes and make sure everything matches up.
No
And it gets to be it's pretty intense actually.
You gotta switch back all the way. There we go. No passport. And what is he gonna say? What's his passport? Denied.
Right, so there you go. The guy playing this caught that, and then so if you spot something, you got to have the rule book right there, and you got to click that with your interrogation button.
Yeah. Oh, and then there are revolutionaries that are trying to get you in on the game and trying to free your country.
Oh, yeah.
And then that there's a whole level of that where you're framing a guy with poison and doing assassinations and
All from your immigration.
all from this one booth. And that's it. Do you get the gun yet?
No.
You get a gun. You
I'm
guys
just
haven't gotten the
enjoying
gun. Did
checking
you get to the
people
gun?
in.
You get a tranquilizer gun, and then the revolutionaries give you a key to the machine gun. So here's the funny thing about the gun, just in the game, not even the revolutionaries. They tell you when, because you're trying to make money to keep your family alive. So they tell you, here's a new safety protocol. If anyone tries to get through, you're authorized now to use this tranquilizer gun and shoot the guy that's trying to get through, right? But they give you bonus money for every trigger pull you do, even if you miss, basically to reward you for your patriotism in trying to stop. It's so funny. So you just basically unload the gun. Jorgie.
This dude, yeah.
There he is. Hello, old friend.
There he is.
So this would be this is actually the I think the third time he comes through. The first time he comes through, he doesn't even have anything.
Yeah, don't give too much of it away because it's really worth playing. This game is
This guy keeps on. What I like too
funniest
is
guy in the game.
like you got that citation for letting that guy through, and then that you get the strip club pass. I love how like the papers don't just disappear.
Yeah.
So like as the day ends, you get all this like random crap stacked up in your desk
you
of
try
stuff
to get
people are
rid of
giving
it.
you. It's just
What this guy's doing is what I typically do. I put him over there on the counter. And
yeah, that's what I do.
that
I
as well.
stack, but it's nice because it's like a real work day almost. You have all these papers stacked up,
Yeah.
and you're trying to sort through everything.
Did you get the engineering business cards?
the engineering business card?
So then this guy shows up with 4 engineers.
That was
He wants
good.
engineers, and he gives you business cards to hand out to all the people coming through that happen to be engineers. So you got those on your desk as well. Yeah, this game, I recommend this game for Game of the Year. This is
Game of the year.
Game of the Year.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's
so
pretty awesome.
Why don't we do our overall here? Let's put our scores up.
Yeah.
and-
Come
and
on,
sum,
X.
sum this one up.
There
Here
we go.
Oh,
I think
here
that's
we
a-
go.
Entry-
Buy across the board.
Entry
This
guarantee.
this game is that good. I want to say, if what you saw from the footage here looks interesting, you should buy this game. You know, personally, I like games that don't follow the norm or anything that takes risks, and this game definitely does that.
Yeah.
It's very
something
unique.
different.
And no, it's good about it too. One, it's only $10. Two, you can sit down and play this for like 5 to 10 minutes. And you're good. You don't have to play for long sessions. But you could sit there and go day after day after day for hours
and
at
really
the same
try to
time.
get through the storyline, which is what I'm at this point trying to do. And this is the first game for a while that I have ever wanted to get back to and play again. And it's so counterintuitive because it doesn't look nice. It's not pretty. You know what I mean? It's not flashy. And I think that's one of the reasons why you can keep doing it. It's like, you don't sort of get overwhelmed where you're playing something that's, you know, full 3D, first person, you're jumping around, you can't.
Oh no, it's just going through
frustrated,
details.
You're just like,
You're like, oh, do I let him in or do I deny him?
Yeah, you're like, you got to make these decisions. It's totally addictive.
Work.
Yeah, well, it's not though. You know what I mean? Like,
it's the way work should be.
Yeah, I wish I liked doing. Of course, I haven't had a job in 5 years. I'm staying home with my children, so it's a different sort of mentality. Maybe that's why I can really get into it the way I can.
Yeah.
But like, I don't have an office job.
I work in an office after a nice hard day at the office. I like to come home and
put in some hours.
You want to go through paperwork.
Yeah.
You want to be overwhelmed with tiny
details.
That's
how good it is.
I get yelled at.
I do paperwork, get yelled at by customers all day. I want to come home and do some virtual paperwork in a communist country.
It's totally worth it.
There you go. I'll
Great
definitely agree
Great
with that.
success.
It's got
You're
that
a funny
quality
guy.
where, right? It's got that quality where you want to keep playing it and see what happens the next day.
It does.
Just keep
replay
seeing
value
how
is
can I
surprisingly high.
It's addictive.
Yeah. I was totally glad that this game came out and recommended to all people because you can get it on either platform, Mac OS or Windows. Same price. I think it would do really well as a tablet game.
Yeah, I was just thinking that would be like this.
But it might actually be easier that way.
Way easier.
Yeah, because you just like
move
pop, pop,
everything
pop,
around.
like.
But maybe that's why it's not, because the challenge is that awkward.
Yeah.
I feel like
there is an easy mode, I guess I should mention, where it's like you can actually, it makes it so you make like $20 extra a day or something, so like you can go further in the game.
There's an easy
Oh
mode?
yeah,
Yeah.
I noticed that. I didn't try it.
Well,
even try that.
I got the game, there's like a patch for it.
Oh.
So, yeah, like, I don't know if that's included with the patch, but I noticed,
Well, that'd be fun for, like, at least,
just like, it like, because like the game is hard.
Yeah.
It's a challenging game, so. I mean, just to see like how much further you can get, like you can use that. Like I don't know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, if you want to just blow through, get a sense of it, get the humor.
What I like about the challenge of the game too, it's not an annoying, obnoxious challenge where it's like, oh, I keep getting killed by this thing or this jump's killing me. It's like, it's about attention to detail.
Yeah.
But the more you play, it's a nice like learning curve. Like you don't. I didn't hit any walls. I mean, my family died, so I got to restart. But
right, but then you start from that day one again, and it's like, oh, this is so easy. You know, and you get better at it as you go.
You start like memorizing like all like the locations and the
I've
passport
already
images.
I've already got an actual memory of which cities are the proper cities for which country. Not all of them, but a few of them.
I almost want to start taking notes too.
Oh, I almost did that. I wrote down a couple people's names.
That's going back to like '90s Sierra adventure game right there. Having a notepad, like writing down little things to go with the video game you're playing.
That's the thing I'm trying to think of is the Sierra games. It looks a lot like a
Yeah.
Sierra game.
Oh, definitely.
It looks like King's Quest or
like
Monkey Island, maybe.
Yeah, all the old.
Those came out.
It has that pixelated graphic look of all of the old adventure games, which I'm a fan of. So again, back to the graphics, loved them, and it fit perfectly.
Yeah,
this game rules.
Fantastic.
All right, guys, there you go.
Go out and get this game.
Yep, definitely give it a try.